Today is 134th birth anniversary of Dr. B.R.Ambedkar. He was born on 14th April of 1891 in the Presidency of Bombay during British rule of India into a Dalit family. In fact, many questions have arisen in the recent past about the relevance of Dr. B.R.Ambedkar to India. In fact, you might have seen in the recent past in Rajasthan when a Dalit leader by the name of 𝐃𝐨𝐬𝐧𝐥𝐨𝐚𝐝, when he visited a Ram temple, it was immediately followed by purificatory rituals in order to cleanse the temple by sprinkling Gangajal. In fact, Dr. B.R.Ambedkar faced similar circumstances throughout his life. His life is a life of discrimination, struggle against discrimination, and attempts to empower the lowest sections of Indian society. In fact, if you see, Dr. B.R.Ambedkar, he was academically a brilliant student. In fact, wherever he went, he always stood first in class, both in India and when he went abroad for education. But despite of his academic brilliance, at every stage of his life, he faced discrimination. In fact, he at the initial point of time in his life thought that education is the only means in order to correct the discrimination in society and to empower himself in order to gain dignity. But even after gaining education also, he was unable to have or receive dignity in society. There were multiple examples for the same. Even though he stood first in class in distributing the water, also there was a discrimination against him. He was made to sit at the last of the class or sometimes outside the class. And in fact, he was not permitted to drink water from the common pot in which the students were drinking water. And he had to face continuously caste-based slurs from his co-students and sometimes from the teachers too. But even then, he committed himself to education, thinking that it is going to empower him. Then thereafter, he got scholarships and went to foreign universities and finished his education in USA. And after coming back to India, he got a job of a civil servant in the princely state of Baroda. Despite of having a powerful position in society, he was not able to get dignity. There also he continuously faced discrimination, leading him to resign from his position and go to London School of Economics, where he finished his barrister. And after finishing his barrister, he came back to India, and in the Bombay Presidency, he started a legal practice, thinking that in private sector, at least the people will not be knowing about his background and there will not be any discrimination. But unfortunately, even in private sector also, once people got to know about his caste-based background, they did not give any cases or petitions to him, leading to the failure of his legal practice. Then he understood that education is not the only solution for caste-based discrimination. Then he started his second leg of his fight against the backward community or the caste-based discrimination and fight for the backward communities of India, as part of which he started organizing the lower caste, because he considered that by organizing the lower caste and attaining power, there would be a chance for getting dignity in society. In fact, as part of this, he organized the Dalit community and conducted multiple satyagrahas across the Bombay Presidency, one of the most prominent of which is the Mahat Satyagraha. In Mahat Satyagraha, what happened is the Dalit community, they accessed a public tank which was historically denied to them on the basis of caste-based discrimination. But quite unfortunately, when he accessed the water in the public tank that is present in Mahat, immediately it was followed by purificatory rituals by the upper caste, in order to cleanse, the lake from the polluting touch of the untouchable sections. So see how unfortunate it is. So just the touch of a section of the population, human beings, they are also human beings, and this touch of the lower caste was considered to be so polluting that it should be followed by a purificatory ritual. Then after that, when he conducted the Parvati, and Lakshman temple entry movements also, there also it was followed by purificatory rituals, as was seen recently in Rajasthan. So this, in fact, made him realize that just merely by organization, so they will not be able to get dignity in society. So the next frontier that he touched upon is agitation. Agitation is nothing but fighting for one's own dignity, one's own social rights. Dr. B.R.Ambedkar clearly understood that dignity and empowerment will never come out of charity of some section of society. In fact, they have to be fought for and they have to be attained. Then only dignity would be more sustaining and empowerment would be more sustaining. Because of which reason he started entering into agitational politics against the upper caste in Indian society, as part of which he opposed Gandhiji, and Gandhiji led Indian national movement, as he thought that the British rule was a very suitable rule in order to bring about the empowerment of the Dalit sections of the society. This way, he started his agitational politics, and through his agitational politics, he gained a lot of significance, first by emphasizing on separate electorate for Dalits, and finally achieving reservation for Dalits in Government of India Act of 1935. But after agitation, he also understood that not merely agitation, but legal and constitutional protection for the Dalit sections is much important. So because of which reason, he became part of the Constituent Assembly. He was given the honorable position of the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution, where he secured some rights for the Dalit sections, ranging from abolition of untouchability as Article 17, then affirmative action in Article 15 and 16 in education and employment. All of these legal and constitutional safeguards were provided for the Dalit sections by Dr. B.R.Ambedkar. But in post-independent India, he understood that mere legal reform will not help in empowerment of Dalits. So what he did is, he established a political party called Republican Party of India, and along with that, he fought against the caste-based discrimination in society and gave a call for complete annihilation of caste system. In fact, he understood that the Indian nation can survive only when a common feeling of maitri or fraternity emerges among the people belonging to various sections, and untouchability as a practice by discriminating against people will never permit this development of maitri in society. And as he studied more about Hinduism, he in fact felt that Hinduism cannot reform. So because of which reason, he established a Bharatiya Bauddha Mahasabha, and along with 5 lakh followers of his own, what he did is he left Hinduism because of caste-based discrimination and in fact embraced Buddhism. And in fact, this conversion, which is an act of Dr. B.R.Ambedkar, is not merely a social act of conversion. It was in fact primarily a political act, primarily because he understood that the caste-based discrimination is going to survive as long as Hindu society is present, because of which reason he converted away into Buddhism. See, today, if we observe, the Dalits of Indian society still face a lot many discriminations, lack of empowerment, and only getting confined to the reserved category of seats in politics too. All of these things make Dr. B.R.Ambedkar a highly relevant personality for Indian society today. His fight for social justice is in fact a much laudable fight, and along with being a laudable fight, his fight for social justice is in fact a transformative fight which tried to bring about dignity for the lowest sections of society. And he is a personality who is highly relevant in today's India, where caste-based discrimination is still prevailing, and along with that, his thoughts on constitutional politics also should inspire us, primarily because his structure of constitution and his philosophy of constitution is able to survive in India for nearly 75 years today. And this is also a great, in fact, testament to the brilliance of Dr. B.R.Ambedkar. Then along with social justice, Dr. B.R.Ambedkar, he in fact touched upon multiple fields like women empowerment, and along with women empowerment, he also spoke about the discrimination against the scheduled tribes in Indian society. This way, Dr. B.R.Ambedkar is a highly relevant personality, and his call of educate, organize, agitate, in fact, is a truly inspiring and a truly visionary statement of his. So, in fact, which might help the Dalit community to achieve empowerment and the broader Indian community to change itself and reform itself in order to bring about real social justice in Indian society. Thank you.